I had a very, very productive meeting today. I actually met somebody that found me on YouTube, and I was talking specifically about the state of Minnesota, the Twin Cities metro area in Minnesota, and how we've been not only witnessing the collapse of economic quote unquote stability, but also what we're going to see here in the next few years in terms of planetary transits aspects, specifically for this state of Minnesota. A lot of things are going to look way different. Now, whether that's a good or bad thing, we can't really deem that right now. But what we can do is come up with ways to be resilient as a community. And what I'm going to do in this video is go over a few different things I want to talk about in terms of actually helping people, and what we should be doing as a community, and hopefully we will be doing as a community. This is the Wizard's Guide to Local Resources, such as guilds, artifacts, and sanctuaries of the Twin Cities. A wizard is nothing without their guild, and these are the orders and institutions in the Twin Cities that hold the knowledge and tools we seek. First, we have the Foragers Guild, connecting to the land's bounty. When the shelves are bare, the land provides, but only if you know where to look and what is legal to take. The laws of foraging are complex, but the wizards of the Four Season Foraging Guild have mapped them for us. Foraging is legal in Ramsey County parks, which includes parts of St. Paul for fruits, nuts, and mushrooms for personal use. In Minneapolis city parks, you may harvest from a specific list of 14 fruits and nuts. We can learn from the wise ones at Gentleman Forager, Chick of the Woods, a four-way for fun girls, or Ironwood Foraging. They offer expeditions just outside the cities to teach the old ways of planet identification and preparation. Do not underestimate the magic of private land. A small yard in the city can be restored with native, edible plants. If a neighbor has a fruit tree dropping its bounty, a polite request is the first spell of many friendships. Let's talk about water, access to clean water. We are blessed to live at the headwaters of the mighty Mississippi. Protecting this resource is our sacred duty. The Friends of the Mississippi River, FMR, is a powerful order dedicated to protecting, restoring, and enhancing the river. They also lead the Forever Green Partnership, developing sustainable crops that protect water quality. There's a youth conclave, FMR's Environmental Stewardship Institute. It's training the next generation of water wizards, focusing on youth leadership and environmental career pathways for BIPOC people and underserved youth. Also, we have household charms, simple acts like planting a rain garden or ensuring your home's downspouts are directed away from paved surfaces, or small magics that keep our aquifers clean. Let's talk about stable housing and stable shelter. A community is only as strong as its foundations. In the face of economic turmoil, wizards band together to ensure no one is left without shelter. We have the Land Trust Enchantment. One of the most powerful spells against housing instability is the Community Land Trust. Organizations like the Rondo Community Land Trust in St. Paul and Homes Within Reach work with the Metropolitan Council to keep homes affordable for generations, ensuring they are not lost to market speculation. The Metropolitan Council's Livable Communities grants are a prime example of civic magic, funding new affordable homes and rehabs in cities like St. Paul, Minneapolis, Maplewood, and Minnetonka. These projects are the new towers of a resilient city. And neighborhood navigators. In times of crises, groups like the Midway Navigators act as the eyes and ears of the community, connecting renters and homeowners with the resources they need to stay in their homes. Let's talk about stable electricity and power infrastructure. True resilience means a community can generate and manage its own power, independent of a fragile, centralized grid. Community Solar Gardens, CSGs, the Metropolitan Council Environmental Services, MCES, facilitates the creation of community solar gardens. This allows residents to subscribe to a share of a local solar array and receive a credit on their utility bill. It's a form of decentralized, community-owned power, as well as zero energy ready homes. The Metropolitan Council is funding homes built to zero energy ready standards, meaning they are so efficient that their energy needs could be met by a small renewable system. And this is the architecture of the future being built today. Of course, talk about community food systems and gardening. When supply chains waver, the most reliable food source is the one you grow with your neighbors. Thanks to renewing the countryside and the USDA, the Twin Cities are dotted with magical growing places. These include the Hanlon University Micro Farm, the Capitol View Communal Garden and Orchard, Four Sisters Urban Farm, and the Eat Street Community Garden. And these are not just gardens, they are centers for education and community nourishment. As well as beyond growing, the wizards at places like the Marine Mills Folk School teach the old magic of turning foraged berries, barks, and herbs into tinctures and balms for the winter months. Now I would like to go over in more detail how we're going to deepen the work, right? Well, in April, the first morel mushrooms begin to appear along the river bluffs and in the hardwood forest just outside the cities. The old wizards say you must walk the land yourself to find them. No map can mark the exact spot. Well, let's plan a four-way with the Minnesota Mycological Society. They lead walks and teach the sacred art of identification. Never eat a mushroom you cannot identify with 100% certainty. This is the first rule of the Foragers Guild. Do not neglect the city. Crabapple trees are blooming now in April. Their blossoms can be used for teas and tinctures. Dandelions, the most humble of weeds, offer leaves for salads and roots for a coffee substitute. We learn from four-season foraging about the abundance growing in the parkways and boulevards of St. Paul and Minneapolis. April showers bring May flowers, but for the resilient wizard, April showers fill the rain barrels. April is the ideal time to install rain barrels at your home or community garden. The Metropolitan Council and various watershed districts, like the Ramsey Washington Metro Watershed District, they often host workshops or offer rebates on rain barrels. Capturing rainwater reduces demand on the municipal system and provides chemical-free water for your gardens. If you have a driveway or a path, consider how water runs off it. Wizards work to slow the water down, let it soak into the earth. Organize a neighborhood project to create a rain garden in a low-lying area. This not only protects basements from flooding, but also filters pollutants before they reach the Mississippi. Let's contact Blue Thumb for native plant recommendations and design guidance. As economic pressures mount, the Masons of the Hearth teach defensive spells to keep people in their homes, the right to remain. So if you or a neighbor fears eviction or holy shit, I'm jumbling over myself, I'm so excited, or foreclosure, know that HOME Line is a powerful ally. They provide free legal assistance to renters throughout Minnesota. Their attorneys are like wizard lawyers fighting to keep families housed. Let's explore models of shared housing. April is a good time to have conversations about bringing a boarder into a spare room or creating an accessory dwelling unit, ADU, in a backyard. The Metropolitan Council provides resources on ADUs, which can provide both income for homeowners and affordable housing for others. This is an ancient form of community magic, updated for the modern city. Now, true energy resilience means needing less power in the first place. Before the heat of summer arrives, wizards conduct a home energy audit. Xcel Energy and Centerpoint Energy offer programs and rebates for air sealing, insulation, and efficient appliances. Every kilowatt hour not used is a kilowatt hour that doesn't need to be generated. The community microgrid vision. Now, this is advanced magic, but worth studying. Some neighborhoods in the U.S. are beginning to explore community microgrids, localized power grids that can disconnect from the main grid and operate independently during an outage. Top-tier neighbors, your city council members, and organizations like LISC, Twin Cities, about the feasibility of such projects in your area. April is the busiest time for the green thumbs. If you started seeds indoors under grow lights in March, they are now ready to be hardened off, gradually introduced to the outdoors. This is delicate magic requiring attention and care. Don't feel the need to rush it. Let's talk about the breaking of bread. The Eat Street Community Garden and similar spaces aren't just about growing food, they're about growing community. Organize a simple potluck in a backyard or a park as the weather warms. Use WeLoveTC.com to find community events and invite neighbors you haven't met yet. Breaking bread together is the oldest and most powerful spell of all, weaving the social fabric that will hold when times are hard. Specifically April, is a month of action. Plant something, fix something, introduce yourself to someone new, join a group. The great gears of the economy may turn as they will, but here in the river valleys of the Twin Cities, a different kind of power is being built. It is the power of neighbors who know each other, of land that is tended, of water that is protected, of homes that are shared. I do want to talk about the vestments of war. And what's really going to go down here is, I'll explain it like this. Before a wizard even learns to cast a spell, they must learn the laws of the land that governs its use. And here is the current legal landscape of the Twin Cities regarding arms and armor, our laws, rights, and responsibilities, the Iron Codex. Really quick, what I want to get into is the astrology of May, because from May 1st through May 7th, we have Mercury in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius, a tense aspect that forces hard conversations about power, control, and resources. Secrets around legislation or local ordinances may come to light. Let's not react with fear, react with research. Let's do spellcasting, the legal scry. The proposed constitutional amendment on the right to bear arms is currently planned for the November 2026 general election ballot. Use this tense energy to read the full text of the bill. Let's understand what is being proposed. Knowledge dispels fear. Right? So, in the realm of Minnesota, the wearing of a bullet-resistant vest is not merely a matter of personal protection, it is a matter of legal record. The statute of 609.486, know this law by heart. It states that any person who commits or attempts to commit a gross misdemeanor or felony while wearing or possessing a bullet-resistant vest is guilty of an additional felony. Upon conviction, the sentence can be up to 5 years in prison, a fine of up to $10,000, or both. If you are engaged in lawful activity, such as target shooting or lawful self-defense, the vest is merely equipment. However, if you are ever involved in a criminal act, the mere possession of such a vest escalates your crime dramatically. The law defines a bullet-resistant vest as a bullet-resistant garment that provides ballistic and trauma protection. Wizards do not hide behind armor to commit wrongs. We stand in the open, protected by our integrity. But, alas, the second law, the preemption doctrine and local ordinances. A wizard must know which laws apply in which territory. Minnesota has historically had a preemption law, meaning the state sets the standard for firearm regulations, and cities cannot create their own stricter rules. However, this is currently in flux. In late 2025, the St. Paul City Council passed an ordinance banning assault-style weapons, large-capacity magazines, and ghost guns. The Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus immediately filed a lawsuit, arguing that the ordinance directly violates state law. The St. Paul Ordinance is written to only take effect if the state legislature repeals or amends the preemption law in 2026. This means the legal status of these weapons in the capital city hangs in the balance. Wizards watch the legislative session closely this year. St. Paul is not alone. A coalition of cities, including Minneapolis, Bloomington, Brooklyn Center, Eden Prairie, Edina, Golden Valley, Hopkins, Mendota Heights, Minnetonka, Mounds View, Richfield, Rochester, Shoreview, St. Louis Park, Stillwater, and West St. Paul have voiced their intent to enact similar measures if the state gives them permission. If you reside in any of these municipalities, your local laws could change significantly. The third law is the right to bear arms, a constitutional question, right? The most significant celestial event on the horizon is not a planetary transit, but a vote. The constitutional amendment, a bill, has been introduced and reintroduced in multiple sessions to add a section to Article 1 of the Minnesota Constitution stating the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This amendment is currently scheduled to be submitted to voters for consideration during the November 2026 general election. Regardless of how one feels about this amendment, every wizard has a duty to be informed and to vote. This is the highest form of civic magic, changing the fundamental law of the land through the collective will of the people. The most powerful defensive tool a neighborhood can possess is not a firearm, but a network of vigilant, connected citizens. Of course, we have our Neighborhood Watch. The City of Crystal provides a model for how communities can formally organize for safety. To start a watch group, neighbors must arrange a meeting with the police department. The requirement is that at least 50% of the neighborhood must attend to participate. Effective groups conduct 2 meetings per year. One is a social gathering, such as Minnesota Night to Unite, to build trust and camaraderie among neighbors. The other is a crime prevention meeting with updates on crime patterns and safety programs from local law enforcement. In Crystal, the City of Crystal, neighborhood watch signs are only posted in areas where citizens are actively meeting. A sign is not a decoration, it is a mark of an engaged and organized community. The training ground, safety, and proficiency. A wizard does not pick up a sword for the first time in battle. Training is essential. Located in Cloquet, this range offers authorized firearms training for Minnesota permit to carry applications. Their instructors come from law enforcement and military backgrounds, providing deep knowledge of the legalities of self-defense. As owner Candy Fierro states, we want to help people and we want to encourage them to get educated. In the metro area, Hat Trick Training offers BCA-approved permit to carry classes covering firearm safety rules, statutes on justifiable taking of life, safe storage requirements, the castle doctrine, and interaction with police. They emphasize that you don't need a gun to take the class, and loaner firearms are available. For those seeking foundational knowledge, the Minnesota DNR's firearms safety course is the traditional path, particularly for youth, teaching the safe handling of firearms and identification of wildlife. Let's talk about tactical innovation. Just a note on DIY tactical innovation. The request for knowledge. DIY bulletproof vest touches upon a deep and ancient wizardly instinct, the desire to create one's own protection. However, the conclave must issue a strong warning. As detailed in the first law, the act of wearing a bullet-resistant vest is not illegal in itself. However, the potential for that vest to be used in a manner that escalates the situation or the legal scrutiny that possessing such an item might bring is significant. If you are ever in a position where law enforcement must interact with you, the presence of body armor can change the nature of that interaction. Creating an effective ballistic vest is an incredibly complex material science challenge. A vest that fails to stop a projectile doesn't just fail to protect the wearer, it actually can create a false sense of security that leads to reckless behavior. Improperly designed armor can also cause back face signature trauma, severe internal injury, even if the projectile doesn't penetrate. Instead of the forbidden forge of DIY armor, the conclave recommends the path of community hardening, a strong door, a well-lit street, a neighborhood that watches out for each other. These are the shields that protect the community without the legal and technical risks of personal armor. All right. And I just want to go over logistics of transportation, because I'm not the only one that doesn't have a vehicle. So before we can even join this collective, we must be able to reach it, right? The Twin Cities offers a web of pathways for wizards with or without personal vehicles. So if you do have a car, your range is the entire metro. Use the mobility to build bridges between neighborhoods, all right? Before venturing out, use apps like Gas Buddy to find the lowest fuel prices. Consider forming carpools with neighbors to events. This not only saves resources, but builds relationships before you even arrive. In dense neighborhoods like Uptown, downtown Minneapolis, or Grand Avenue in St. Paul, research parking options in advance. Apps like Spot Hero can reserve spaces and prevent the frustration of circling blocks, which drains both fuel and spirit. Your vehicle can become a resource for others. Offer rides to neighbors without cars for grocery trips, medical appointments, or collective gatherings. This is the magic of practical generosity. For those of us on 2 wheels like bikes, bicycles, the Cycling Covenant, Minneapolis is consistently ranked as one of the best cycling cities in the nation. If you ride, you are part of an ancient lineage of messengers and wanderers. If you like bicycles, Minneapolis is the place to be, says Chris Bachland, a transplant who arrived less than a year ago. There are social rides just about every day of the week thanks to groups like Bonesaw Cycling Collective, Gino, Joyful Riders Club, and Angry Catfish. These rides are moving rituals, opportunities to connect with dozens of like-minded souls while traversing the city. The network of bike trails from the Grand Rounds to the Midtown Greenway to the Gateway Trail remains passable even in winter for the dedicated rider. Fat bikes with studded tires extend the cycling season deep into the cold months. Alex Polos, who has lived in the Twin Cities for 14 years, offers simple advice for new arrivals. Maybe just ride a bicycle. Her husband made all his friends on cycling teams. The bicycle is not just transportation, it is a social talisman. Alright, the Transit Grimoire. The Metro Transit System is your network of ley lines connecting the magical nodes of the Twin Cities. Recent enchantments have made navigating the system easier than ever. Metro Transit has partnered with the trip planning app Transit to offer their premium Royale service at no cost to all riders. This powerful tool provides real-time vehicle locations, step-by-step navigation combining bus, train, foot, and bike, more route options and departure times, the ability to provide feedback on station cleanliness and accuracy. More than 21,000 people across the Twin Cities already use transit regularly. In January alone, Metro Transit received 66,000 survey responses through the app. Your feedback shapes the system. Use your voice. Metro Transit's phone representatives can now speak to customers via translators in 170 or more languages when non-English speakers call for assistance. The We Speak Your Language initiative ensures no wizard is left unheard. For those who wish to learn the deeper mysteries of the transit system, Metro Transit offers programs like the Technician Training Program, a paid apprenticeship, and the Urban Scholar Summer Internship. These are paths to not just using the system, but becoming part of its maintenance and evolution. Alrighty. And overall, what you can expect to see more of on this channel, besides just astrology, is talking about community building and social networking. And hopefully my videos can get more into the algorithm than they already are, because the goal is to build an effective community, right? To rely on one another and be there for one another when shit hits the fan, which is really, really soon. So subscribe, like, comment, share my videos around, please, and I will see you in the next one, talking to you more about collective consciousness, if you will.